Gagarin class, how are you? Um, just been on to read you a story. I had already done one, but somebody pointed out to me that it's a little bit quiet and you can't hear me very well. So, I'm going to redo it. Hopefully, this one works and you can hear me a lot better. I have picked up a slightly different book to one that I read earlier. This one is called The Boy Who Swam with Piranhas. Now, I've not read it before, but it really grabbed my attention. Swam with piranhas. But also, it says down here it's illustrated by Oliver Jeffers, and that's a somebody who actually we have done a lot of work with in school. So we have done lots of book projects. We have done our book day. But cast your mind back to this. Now, some of you may remember that when we all came back to school in September last year, after a very strange year and after not seeing lots of adults and lots of people in school and friends, we did a whole school project called Here We Are by Oliver Jeffers. So it really grabbed my attention. His illustrations are beautiful. So I'm going to read you a few pages. Chapter 1 is called Factory. Here's a question. How do you like it if somebody in your house, your Uncle Ernie, for instance, decided to turn it into a fish canning factory? How would you like it if there were buckets of pilchards and tubs of mackerel everywhere you looked? What if a shoal of sardines were swimming in the bath? What if your Uncle Ernie kept on making more and more machines? Machines for chopping the heads off, cutting the tails off, getting the guts out. Machines for cleaning them and boiling them and squashing them into cans. Can you imagine the racket? Can you picture the mess? And just think about the stink. Oh, can you imagine that? I can't think of anything worse to smelling your house. Oh, what if Uncle Ernie's machines grew so big that they took over every room? Bedroom, for instance, so that you had to sleep in a cupboard. Harry Potter much? What if your Uncle Ernie said you couldn't go to school anymore, but you had to stay home and help him can fish? Sounds good. But what if instead of going to school, you had to start work every morning at 6 o'clock on the dot, and that's AM, 6 a.m., 6 in the morning. Oh, and you also get no holidays. And you never get to see your old pals or your school friends. Would you like that? Would you? Heck! Well, neither did Stanley Potts. Stanley Potts. Just an ordinary kid living an ordinary life in an ordinary house in an ordinary street, and then bang! Life turned balmy. It happened overnight. One day, there they were, Stan, his Uncle Ernie, and his Auntie Annie, living in a lovely little terraced house in Fish Key Lane. Next day, whoop! Pilchards, mackerel, sardines, and total balminess. Now, Stan really did love his Uncle Ernie and his Auntie Annie. Ernie was Stan's dad's brother. They'd been wonderful to him ever since Stan's dad died in that awful accident. His mum died of a broken heart. Gosh, that really is sad, isn't it? They'd been like a brand new mum and dad. They'd been Oh, sorry, I've just read that bit. They'd been like a brand new mum and dad. But once the barminess started, it seemed it would never stop. And pretty soon, it would all get far too much to bear. So I'm guessing this is probably Stan. Doesn't really look very happy, does he? Almost like, imagine that, all that fish, hard work, no holidays, no friends. Doesn't sound like a very happy child, does it? No friends, not able to see anyone. So, the boy who swam with piranhas. Interesting. reminds me of someone who might run away to join a circus. So if you fancy reading this, if you are in your local library, you can have a look or look it up. But it's called The Boy Who Swam with Piranhas by David Almond and illustrated by an author we know quite well, Oliver Jeffers. So I hope you enjoy, and maybe some of you will read that book this summer. Have a lovely summer, and I'll see you in September. Bye, Gagarin.